Ahoy there, mates! Hello, friends. Greetings from the 7 seas, and welcome aboard the VHS pirate ship. And welcome to REEK of the Week, the little segment here on the VHS pirate ship where I explore different aspects of 80s and 90s nostalgia. And if you grew up in this magnificent era, it's a retrospective look at the things that made our childhood so awesome. Yes, it's the show that has the sweet stench of childhood memories and reeks of nostalgia. It's REEK of the Week! And get ready to harness the power, because on this installment of REEK of the Week, I'm gonna be talking about Dino Riders, which could quite possibly be one of the greatest toy lines on Earth. How so, you may dare ask? Well, first, let's examine the concept. Take dinosaurs. Who doesn't like dinosaurs? And even if you're indifferent or neutral to dinosaurs, I'm sure you don't have a problem with them. Right, so everybody likes dinosaurs. So what do you do then? Well, you make a toy line about dinosaurs, but not just dinosaurs. You take dinosaurs and strap a bunch of fucking laser cannons to them. And then you have people ride them, and then the bad guys aren't people, but they're aliens with snake heads and fucking ant heads. And then you add a dash of intergalactic battle between two warring species that both crash land on prehistoric Earth, and you have a recipe for success. And you give it a simple yet powerful name, like Dino Riders. It describes perfectly what they do. They ride dinos. And to make things even more interesting, they not only ride the dinos, they turn them into battlements of warfare. Even though most of the species of dinosaurs they used existed millions of years apart from each other. But, whatever. You are totally willing to forgive this dire inaccuracy, and as a kid, you simply did not give a shit about that. This was not only an awesome concept, but a phenomenal toy line, and Dino Riders hit toy store shelves in 1988, and would go on to have a grand total of 4 series. And the 4th and final series would be called Dino Riders Ice Age. Ice Age! And this series took place in the Ice Age, obviously, and featured prehistoric beasts as the battlements of warfare as opposed to dinosaurs, and included little cavemen, though people only seem to remember the first series, which leads me to believe that Dino Riders is actually a low-key, underrated toy line. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, geez, how can he say that? Everybody knew about the Dino Riders. Yes, that's true. Everyone did know about the Dino Riders, and I say that they're an underrated toy line because at the time, that interest seemed to be rather short-lived, and it wasn't until very recently that the interest in Dino Riders re-emerged, and everyone once again realized how awesome of a toy line Dino Riders was. Most certainly if you're a toy collector, because these things sell for a shit ton of money nowadays. And I would say that these prices are rather well-founded, and I have no argument with them, mainly because these toys came with a lot of little pieces, and to find any of them with all their little pieces complete and intact is a rather hard thing to do. Though these prices may seem outrageous, they are indeed justified. It's a very rare thing to find any of these still in the box, let alone any of them that still has all their shit. Because if you got these as a kid, you opened them and played with them. You were not concerned about keeping them in the package. Yeah, needless to say, the terms mint in box certainly were not part of our lexicons back then. And the fact that these things could be worth money someday was not in our minds whatsoever. And to find anyone nowadays who did actually keep some of these things in the box, or at least still have all the pieces, is a very rare thing. And anyone who managed to have the diligence to keep this stuff in the box after all these years certainly deserves such an asking price. I mean, even keeping track of all the little pieces after all of these years is a Herculean task. A task that I myself have never been able to complete successfully, because as soon as I got a toy as a kid, I opened it and lost the shit. Step 1. Remove toy from packaging. Check. Step 2. Immediately lose all of its pieces. Check. Yes, kids are just not concerned with that kind of stuff. You get a toy for the purpose of playing with it. Dino Riders was produced by Tyco, a toy company that was mainly known for their radio-controlled toys and slot car tracks. Yeah, really awesome slot car tracks too. Look, this one goes right up the wall. Zero gravity cliffhangers! So Tyco, venturing into the action figure-like toy line realm, was very bold and unexpected, but very welcome, as a lot of people forget that Tyco stood strong against the likes of Hasbro, Mattel, and Kenner. So Dino Riders, like many other toy lines, had a cartoon. But not just any old cartoon, it was a cartoon based on a property that had been acquired by Marvel Comics. And this first aired as part of the Marvel Action Universe cartoon block, which would play alongside reruns of Spider-Man and Friends and RoboCop. RoboCop as a cartoon show is absurd. But anyways, the Dino Riders cartoon show premiered October 31st, 1988 and ran all the way until December 31st, 1988. So yeah, this really wasn't all that long-lived. It only had 14 episodes and one season, and the distribution of this cartoon show was very sparse, as it didn't really make it into a lot of local television markets. But this cartoon show would be immortalized on VHS. I mean, sort of. There was only a very few of these that were put on VHS. And one of these VHS was actually of the forgotten Dino Riders Ice Age. Ice Age! And I still have the first Dino Riders VHS that I got for Christmas when I was, I don't know, maybe 9 years old. Yes, I actually managed to keep something that was from my childhood, and it's just as fun as it ever was. And it really is. You know how when cartoon shows are put on VHS, they edit out the commercials? Well, in this VHS, they don't even bother doing that. And they're not just commercials, they're commercials for other Tyco toys. It's very clever marketing, and I'm not mad at it at all. And watching this will send you into nostalgia overload. And look, it even has a commercial for Zero Gravity Cliffhangers. Zero Gravity Cliffhangers! And note the difference between the US VHS release and the European VHS release. I mean, the US VHS release always had cool artwork, but man, look at the European stuff. Wow. And speaking of the VHS, these are way easier to find than the actual toys are nowadays. Oh, gee, they're probably real expensive, right? Well, I don't blame you for thinking that, but actually the prices range from anywhere to $3 to $200. Yes, the price of this nowadays is sort of all over the place. So if you were considering picking one of these up for your VHS collection, be sure to do a little shopping around first. And as I had mentioned earlier, Marvel Comics had acquired the property rights, so there are Dino Riders comic books. So yeah, Dino Riders was a pretty big deal, but only for a very short while. The interest in Dino Riders, as hot as it was, would seemingly only last a few short years, and they would join the ranks of many other underrated toy lines of the 1980s. And that's where we're going to leave off, and that's where we're going to pick up next time, as the Captain Adams VHS pirate ship REEK of the Week underrated toy line saga continues. So don't miss the next installment. Be sure to hit subscribe and share this shit. And take care out there, and I'll see you next time, only on Captain Adams VHS pirate ship. Goodbye for now.